Welcome everybody to Rondell Design. So glad you're here. Today I've got the lovely Leonie Dawson. I've got three business idols, and Leonie, you're one of them. So it's you, Denise Duffield Thomas, who you actually found her through when I did your course, 40 Days to Your First E-Course. You recommended her book, Chillpreneur, and I went from there. And Gary V, who, I know a lot of people either love him or hate him, but I just love him. Another sweary boy. I love I just love really authentic, genuine people. So Leonie has been in business for quite a while. Was it 2004 when you started your blog? Is that when you kind of started your business?
Yeah, I started blogging in 2004, but I was in message boards before then and started selling off message boards even then. So it was like 2001-ish or so.
Okay.
But I think, I really started, like the blog started 2004 and it's just continued to build from there. And I'm so grateful because I have so many customers still from those message boards in 2001.
Oh, wow.
That have bought like artworks as soon as I released them. And I just feel so ridiculously blessed.
So crazy, isn't it? I love the old forums. I had a scrapbooking website in 2003, I think it was 2002, 2003. No, when I had my first daughter in 2003, sort of from there to 2005. And that we were in Queensland and I didn't have any family and was having these babies, and my ex-husband was in the Air Force, so going off. And that forum that I created, the business side of it didn't do well because I kept buying stock and not selling it. But the community forum is what got me through those early years of parenthood, because it was like I had that support of those women in that community. It was so good. So, and you've kind of gone back to that because you've left social media, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. And it's interesting because when you talk about message boards, I think for people who've only like experienced Facebook groups, it's just not the same thing. Like message boards is not the same as a Facebook group, because it's kind of it's a static community of people that visit there, kind of every day or every week, and they really connect and share about their lives. And PHP BB forums were just like the bee's knees, like they're miraculous.
Yeah, very special place. Okay, so you started back then. Now you're multi-million-dollar Australian business owner who works around 10 hours a week, which I love that. I just love that. I love your authenticity and just you're just so genuine in everything you do when you're talking, whether it's in your courses, which I've done quite a few of, or on your podcast, which I don't know why I only just started listening to this morning. I think I knew you had one, but never got onto it. I'm like, holy crap, that's what I'm binge listening to for the rest of the week. And on your website, you give lots of freebies, and your blogs are always really giving and supportive, because it's very clear to see that you just want women or everybody really to thrive in business. And the best thing about that is that you promote that work as little as you want, and you don't have to hustle and grind and do all the things to get where you want to go, which is really refreshing, because I found in my own business, which I've been running for 7 years, for so many years, I put so much pressure on to just work this many hours a week, have this structure, and try and do this while I was single parenting 3 children, which is ridiculous. And only in this year, I've gone, okay, let's just see if I can do 2 hours a day on that, and then 2 hours on that. And taking the pressure off makes me feel less guilty when I'm not getting it done, and I'm actually getting more done and making more money. So it's like, that's the way to do it.
It really is. And I think like the whole idea of a 40-hour work week and more, it's just an insane idea and a terrible idea, really. It doesn't actually mean peak productivity. Like so much studies have shown, it does not create peak productivity. It doesn't create the best ideas, and it doesn't necessarily create the best revenue either. So I've always been like, I've created my business in short hours, originally out of necessity, because I was working full-time first for the Australian government, and I only left when I had babies, and like babies take a lot of time.
That is a full-time job in itself, isn't it? Like, really,
it's 3 full-time jobs back to back. It's stupid, terrible invention. Don't recommend it.
It's very glorified, isn't it? Even now, it's art. Nothing can prepare you for how difficult. I was just telling my almost 16-year-old the other day. So my oldest, who's 18, would not sleep. So I'm like, for the first year, I didn't sleep for more than 3 or 4 hours at a time. She's like,
Mhm.
They don't show that on the movies, do they?
They
Yeah.
do not.
Yeah.
They
and
do
then
not.
try to run a business as well. It's impossible.
Yeah, it's atrocious. So I really only had like an hour. Like when we first started, it's just my first daughter didn't sleep. She would sleep in 20-minute splotches throughout the night. So she woke up, up to 8 times a night until she was 2.5. And then didn't nap, and was screaming if she was out of my arms. So I really just had no time to do it. I remember writing blog posts on an iPod because I didn't have iPhone.
Yeah.
But I would write 1,000-word blog posts like one-handed while I was breastfeeding the baby. And it was only when she was about 9 months old that I was starting to like lose my fucking mind. That I said to my husband, like, I actually do need to like leave this house. Like, I need to go and do something away from the baby. And he's like, good idea. So it would only be an hour, maybe 3 times a week. But it migrated up to like 2 hours, 5 days a week or so, but it's just never really increased from there. I had a larger team at one point and I had to work more and it sucked. So we just goodbye to that.
Yeah, I love that too, because I like it. One of the ideas, I think we all have our ideas of what a business owner should be and how we should run a business. And one of the things was always like, you got to work up to having a big team. And I'm not very good at telling people what to do. And I'm not really, I would never want lots of people under me. I love the idea of like outsourcing different parts of the business. And I was in at the academy. It was a membership. So you pay per annum and you get access to all of the courses. And there were so many courses and the online community. And it was great. But I remember when you released that you were going to close it and go back to just take a break. And I was like, oh, yeah, good on her, because that would be a shitload of work to have to do all that. And I actually prefer the way you have your business structured now, where you've got online courses and you can pick which online course you want to buy and do that. You've got access to it for ages. Because I found for myself when I went into your academy, I was so overwhelmed with the choice of courses. I'd do a few and start them and then never finish them. Whereas now, because you've got more time to spend on each course and you do a live round where you'll come in and do weekly Q&As, it's so much easier to commit. And I've actually bought a lot of courses over the years, and yours are the only ones I actually finish because I don't feel that pressure and I've got that constant commitment that's like, it's okay, even if I don't do it, it'll still be there. But it's less overwhelming to do one at a time.
Totally. And it was also like the academy, it was something I'd built over 9 years. Like it lasted 9 years, which is just a freaking lifetime. Yeah. And when I brought it out, I only had 2 courses in it, 2 courses and a couple of meditation kits. But because I'm a Leonie, I just like kept on piling shit in there. So we had 150 courses by the end. And it was amazing value. Like,
massive stuff. Yeah.
But like, it was overwhelming for me and it was overwhelming for my people as well. So it was like, right, I need to simplify. I need to make this easier for me. And I also don't want a large team, because running a big membership program can sometimes require a bit more of a team. And I don't want to manage people. It sucks. It sucks so much.
Yeah, it's really it's having that self-awareness, isn't it? What works for you. That's what I think is probably one of the biggest things that makes you successful. Okay, I've only got 10 hours a week. How am I going to do that? I don't like to have heaps of people. How am I going to change that? And you just go ahead and do it, like in a loving, authentic way. Sorry if you're going to be upset that this is closing, but I have to do what's right for me and my family. I just think that's the way. If more businesses did that, we'd just be in a much better place.
Yeah, I think so. And to realize like that it's all just a big experiment. It's just,
it is. Yeah.
And you can build it to your strengths. And the only way, like, I remember crying after realizing like I really did not want a big team anymore. And I was crying to my business advisor and my accountant. And he said to me, Leonie, like the only way you would have discovered that you don't like this is by trying it out.
Yeah, exactly.
And people usually don't know beforehand what's going to work for them and what's not. And it's a process of discovery. So it's okay to try things new. And if it works, great. And if it doesn't, also great. You can choose something else.
That's so true. So true. I've actually found that because I did your 40 days to your first e-course, and I did one last year, which was an art, like an introduction to mixed media art, which was great. I got a few people into that. It was just a little cheap one. And then I did a hop from hobby to business in 30 days at the start of this year. And I don't know, I don't think it's that type of structure isn't for me, but I made the course. I didn't promote it because I got scared and went and hid and blah. But I did sold two people on it. But then I was like, oh, I don't like this pressure. I don't want to be responsible. But so it was good to I ended up refunding them and putting it on my YouTube channel for free. So it's a 9-part sort of video series. But I think it was a mixture of, it's okay, you realize that wasn't right for you at that time. And then because I'd set up a Facebook group and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to have to be responsible and be there for people holding their hand. So I did that. But now I'm like, oh no, I still want to do an online course. I just think I need to get a better mindset around you're not responsible for the people's outcomes on your course, but also that it's okay if you don't want to do it yet. Maybe it's in 2 years' time and you can just focus on your free stuff that you're putting on your YouTube channel. And it's just like, okay. It's like I've given my permission to change the way I thought I wanted to run things.
Yeah.
But I think I still want to do an online course.
Completely. And I really recommend online courses. They're amazing. But, as Denise Duffield-Thomas says in her book about, Chillpreneur, which you talked about before, she says to really focus on being a contributor, not a guru. You don't have to know everything. Just contribute what you know about it. And that's going to be enough in your voice and in the experience that you have. And I think that's just perfect, right?
It is. That's one thing that I have to keep reminding myself of. I've actually got a lot of skills that people want to know. And although I'm not at the financial position I want to be at in my business, or I'm not in the whatever part, I'm still a few steps ahead of those people that want to get to where I am. So you got to share that. You got to share it.
Exactly. Like you just have to know a little bit more than what they need to know. You're just giving them the information they need for that part of their journey. They're not asking like, how do I, sell 7 figures? They're saying, how do I fucking start?
Yeah, exactly. And also the whole, like, it's not, if they don't open the course, then that's not my fault either. Because I've done that before. I've bought courses and have done like the first 5 seconds of it and then not looked at it again. I was like, oh, but that's on me. That's not on the person that sold the course.
This is it. And also, just because it doesn't happen in that timeline, that's also fine. Like I have courses that, like I have a little folder on my browser and it's just called education, and it's got just all the links to all the courses I've bought and haven't used yet. And I would say there's like 50 in there.
Oh, wow. That makes me feel better. Yeah.
But it's good. It's backlog because now I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah. It's
and
like,
you will go in and do it.
Awesome.
I've done that with I'd love to write a book at some point. Probably I think more of like a children's book maybe. But I bought your 40 days to your first book. I'm like, yes, I haven't even opened it yet. I bought it a few months ago. I'm like, okay, I know that's sitting there just waiting for me when I have the right time. I love it.
It's in the library of resources.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good idea having them in a folder all together though.
It's so great because I usually do e-courses at least once a week, usually on Sundays. It's just my me time. I love e-courses. I do. I really do.
I think that's something I have to do, structure that into my week. Okay, just 2 hours. Doesn't matter when, just go in and spend some time.
And because you're an artist as well, like I do it always with my art journal. So I've got my art journal, I've got Posca markers, I've got collage paper. And so I don't make like, just basic bitch notes. They end up becoming like collage pages. So I'm art journaling while I'm doing e-courses.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's the best.
That's great. I'm going to do that. I've got my Poscas literally right here. I love my Poscas. They're the best thing. If you haven't got Poscas, people, get Poscas. Okay, so just on your sort of 10-hour work week, do you structure, like, do you go, okay, this week I'm going to do 2 hours on this today? Or is it much more loose, like, okay, I'm just going to work when I've got the opportunity or feel like it? It might be 8 hours in one day and,
You're right.
That's it.
It's never 8 hours in one day, really, because I have I have hypermobility, so my bones dislocate if I do dumb shit with my body, and that includes just sitting in the one spot for too long.
Yeah.
So I can't do a full-time day anymore, and that's totally fine anyway. So usually I just kind of have a very basic routine. I have mornings are always with my family, and we do errands, and we hang out, and we talk shit, and we do stuff together. And then usually in the afternoon after lunch, I'll poddle over to the office for a couple of hours, and then we'll go do school run together. So it's not super structured, but there's, some semblance of an idea of when it'll happen. And then also, if I just couldn't be bothered, I'll just go to bed.
Yeah. Naps. I'm all about the naps. That's another thing. I'm just embracing them this year. I'm 1/8 Spanish. I've got the siesta part of me. I'm just going to go for a nap in the afternoon if I need to.
It's the epigenetics at work.
Exactly. I've got to stop fighting it. So now it has taken me several years to get my business, my mind, my subconscious blocks, whether that's money blocks or who am I to be successful, saboteur, sort of imposter syndrome blocks out of the way. And I thought, you've worked with a lot of people over the years. You've seen a lot of people do your courses or be in your community. Is there something that you think is the biggest thing that stops people that have got amazing potential from going from where they want to get to actually getting that success, whether it be financial or freedom or whatever?
Yeah. So the thing is, the people who don't have or who don't have imposter syndrome, it's straight white men.
That's so true.
They've got all the confidence in the fucking world. So the very fact that everybody else has it, it's actually not a natural part of life. Then it's a sign of the patriarchy, and it's a sign of white supremacy. And you know what we say to that?
Yeah, fuck that. So we actually have to get rid of that. Yeah.
Just I'm not going to play imposter syndrome. I just don't think it's natural. And I'm not going to hold myself back and diminish myself because of the patriarchy. Get fucked. They can get fucked. They're not doing a very good job. They're not doing a good job of managing the world.
That's so true. Yeah,
they're doing a
very
shit
true.
job. It's our turn.
Yeah. That's actually, I love that, because I know a lot of people have this thing around being rich, and there's definitely, I grew up, and I've learned since, because I joined Denise's Money Bootcamp community after reading her book that you recommended, so thank you. And a big thing for me was realizing, growing up very low income in a very working class family, and the whole thing is rich people are selfish assholes and they're only out for themselves. And you talk a lot about that, let's get rid of the patriarchy. The more kind, amazing people who are rich and got money, the more we can actually change this world for the better. I'm very much an environmentalist, and it just shits me to tears that these people in power are connected to all these politicians and they're all best mates. And so I've completely turned that around in my head. Who am I not to be rich and actually start changing this world and donate to charities and organizations who are actually making a difference? Let's not keep ourselves small, and let's actually be the amazing people we are, so we can get rid of all the dickheads that shouldn't be in charge.
They're just if they were doing a great job, fair enough, fair play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they're not.
Yeah.
So, I think they could do better than that. And the research shows that women are much better custodians of money than men. They are much more likely to invest in their children's education, in their family's health, their family's development, in their community, and in donating. They donate at least twice the amount that the straight white dudes are. So it can make an amazing amount of difference. And when I didn't have cash, I used to live paycheck to paycheck. When I didn't have any money, I couldn't make much actual difference in the world, really. I could bitch and moan about it, but I couldn't make real change. And now I can do really cool shit. So we donate, this year it'll be close to $30,000, and that goes largely to wildlife conservation and land care management here in Australia, because I think that's a really huge part of the climate crisis puzzle, is to have land kept from development. And that thrills me. That thrills me that we're able to do some really good shit and put, more than I used to earn in a year sometimes into really good places.
Yeah, that's amazing. Oh, so yeah, if you can hear a snoring in the background, my dog's just come in and sat under my chair. She's a staffy and she's just so loud. She's like moaning.
So
Has to be right there, and she's so loud. Anyway, it's fine. Okay, so yeah, so we just have to get over our shit. We just do, don't we? Yeah. And I think the more courses I do, the more podcasts and self-development business books I listen to. It's like working out. If you want to build muscle, you got to keep doing it. You can't just do it once. You got to just keep filling your brain with all that good stuff, and that helps you get over the fear and do it anyway.
That's true, and gives you better role models, like, oh, that person did it and they did it this way. Wow, okay, cool. I could maybe do it this way.
Yeah. Now, as a creative business owner, I know you are one of the most creative business owners out there. And I, as a creative business owner myself, I've found one of the things that has held me back over the years is my shiny object thing, where I get distracted and want to start a new business or start doing this. So I've managed to hone that in, and I'm still allowing myself to play and explore and try new things, but I'm making sure that it's in the umbrella of my business instead of starting 25 other businesses that will be exciting for 5 minutes. How do you navigate that when you get excited and want to do stuff? Do you think it is important to let yourself explore, or do you find it's better for you to really focus in on the one thing?
It's a combination of the two. So first and foremost, like, the ideas I have, they have to be brought to fruition and they have to make cash. They have to be launched into the world and they have to make a good amount of cash. Of course, there's some projects that are just like fails, but like the only way you find out is actually by putting it out there.
So and would you do a projection of that before you start? Go, how is this going to make me cash? Okay, it's going to probably make me cash this way. Yeah, I'll give it a go.
Well, yeah, so mostly, like, I'm always working out, like, what's the actual, what it could potentially earn, like at what price point, how many people, what do I expect? For me now, I don't really want to do something unless it's, $150,000 or more. I don't want to bring out a new thing because that's kind of my minimum level. It's like the opportunity cost. If I do something else, I could have brought out a course that brought in $150,000 that year with, that continues to bring it in year upon year. So at this stage, I need to like be a little bit mindful of what needs to happen, but then I also need to have like stupid creative side projects as well. So last year I wrote an erotic novella and it was awesome. It was
so cool. That's so cool. Did you self-publish that through the is it the KDP? Is that the Amazon? Yeah. That's how I want to do my little children's book, just to chuck it out there and get it done.
Honestly, like as much as much as Amazon is, it can be problematic. It's after I've used so many services in my self-publishing journey that over the last, it'll be now 16 years of self-publishing, and it is the most effective, most efficient and least annoying.
Yeah, it definitely has its pros and cons, doesn't it? I know my 18-year-old is so anti-Amazon and anti-Jeff Bezos, and I totally get it. Like the staff and even the drivers, like you just like they need to up their game there. But at the same time, I've seen so many people just have that platform and being able to become multimillionaires, or just be really successful and put their books out there that they wouldn't otherwise been able to get published. So it's definitely one of those evil and good situations, isn't it?
Yeah. And I mean, here's the thing, like I'm mindful of the fact I can't be perfect in every single area. You know what I mean? So I have to choose, like, what can I really give a fuck about and make a big difference in there? But if I give a fuck about absolutely everything, I'm going to be paralyzed. And not able to actually make any movement. It's sort of like we get food delivery boxes, like HelloFresh or Marley Spoon or whatever. Yes. On one level, they're really great because you get no food wastage, which is awesome. and like everything gets used up. And because I have ADHD, it's really the only way that I can meal plan. Like meal planning and being able to find something at a grocery store and put it and then remember where it is, it just completely fucks me over. I can bring in $11 million a year, but can I meal plan? No, I can't. It's beyond me. So it enables me to actually eat well instead of just getting fucking takeaway.
Yeah.
However, it's got packaging, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And
yeah.
so there's these trade-offs, and I think, okay, well, it's not perfect.
Yeah.
But it's better, the better alternative of what I have.
Yeah. You have to pick your battles, don't you? It's funny because I've just done a month with Every Plate, which is like HelloFresh. And I did HelloFresh years ago and stopped because of the packaging. And I know there's lots of probably preservatives in the little flavoring satchels. But then I was thinking, should I do it this time? Should I just get it? Because I was just overcooking dinner. I've got, 3 teenagers. One's in Sydney at uni, but the other 2, I'd be like, I'm not cooking dinner tonight. Get what you want. And then I was like, okay, we're getting like McDonald's twice a week at this point, which is shit. And there's so much packaging. At least if I get the food delivery, yes, there's packaging, but I can try and recycle a lot of it. And it's a step better. And you're not throwing food out of the fridge that you've bought that doesn't match up with anything because it looked pretty in the veggie section. So totally get that. We've just stopped. So I'm like, okay, we've got all these menus now. Let's start and try and do it ourselves. And if you do worry about, I have a couple of friends who are so worried about everything that's happening in the world. It overwhelms them. And it's like, you have to do a few things well and stick to those commitments and then grow as you can.
Yeah. And I mean, I have noticed that like HelloFresh is starting to change their packaging because they do get the feedback from their clients, and I'm like, hooray. Like it's all
that's great.
It's not perfect, but it's progress.
I'd love to have a personal chef. That would be awesome. So this is like the step before being able to have a personal chef. I was saying to my partner the other night, I just want Alice from the Brady Bunch. I just want an Alice to come in and do everything for me.
But an invisible Alice I don't have to talk to and doesn't have human drama.
Yeah, like I'm like, bring on the robots. They keep talking about the robots are going to take over. Bring it on. I want one. I want my housekeeper to be a robot.
I would totally have a big team if it was robots and I didn't have to deal with human drama.
So true. Oh my gosh. Okay. Now let's talk about your courses. So you have got several online courses. Do you have a favorite, or is it like picking a favorite child, or does it change?
Oh, no, I just think each one is like so important for its own reason.
Yeah.
And then every time I like think of one, I'm like, and that one's amazing because of this and this and this. And then I think of the other, I'm like, no, and that one's amazing because of this and this and this. Yeah. They're there for when people need them for the different things. So I've got sales staff, people who don't know how to sell and market really well yet and write in a way that causes people to buy from them, because that is, I think it's a foundational business skill and it is essential. Yeah. And it makes a massive difference to your profit margins. It makes a huge difference to your revenue. So I would say that's kind of the most important business skill for people to learn. And then I have marketing without social media, which I'm very passionate about, clearly. 40 days to sell your e-course, 40 days to finish your book. Oh, and then I've got money manifesting your multiple streams of income, which takes people behind the scenes of how I manage my finances and how they can kind of set themselves up for financial abundance in the future.
I think that one's probably my favorite. I haven't done I think I need to do the sales one because that's definitely my downside as far as getting the wording right with marketing. But I love the it's just brain block. Money manifesting and multiple income streams. So that one, my favorite part of that one is when you go through your monthly bills and subscriptions and like I feel like I'm past trying to budget, trying to squeeze as much money that I'm spending each month instead of focusing on growing my income. However, I reckon I've saved about $600 just in like ringing the insurance companies. So if you suggest ring your insurance companies, check your phone plans, look at those little sneaky Apple subscriptions that are $7 or $8 a month or a week on that you've gone, that looks like fun. And so just reducing that was amazing. I loved that. And yeah, and you recommend lots of things to read and do, and it's all very practical. It's very practical. And then the second favorite obviously would be the 40 days to your first e-course. And also how I love in the Q&As, a lot of people will say, oh, which platform should I use? Which this should I do? And you're just like, it doesn't fucking matter. Just do it. It's like, you just cut out the bullshit. Just great. I love that.
Yeah. It's because people get so paralyzed with their decisions, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you use, as long as you actually do the fucking thing.
Yeah. Just do it and keep going. Yeah. No, probably not like me and put it on YouTube instead. It's funny. I've actually I was right for the time, because I wasn't putting out any YouTube content. I was like, this will be good. It's got me for the next 3 months. I can put them out. But I've just hired my first official outsource apart from my accountant. She's going to be doing my email marketing. So I'm hopeless at that. And she's also like, I think we need to relook at that course, because it's a really good course. And maybe we can beef it up a bit and relaunch it, and I'll help you with the marketing and wording. I'm like, yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
Get yourself some cash, girl. Get yourself some cash.
Yeah. And you're helping people, because I'm like, I don't want to help people, but you're allowed to make money while you help people at the same time. That's even better, because then you can help more people.
It's true. And also, like, when it's free, they're not going to do the homework, and they're actually not that committed to it. When they pay, then they've got some skin in the game.
That's so true. And you've chosen to keep your courses quite affordable. So is there a reason behind that? Can you share why? Because I mean, I've done a couple of courses that have gone into the thousands, which have been amazing, but I love your courses because I don't even have to think twice about signing up to it, because $200 is like, you're going to get at least, probably $2,000 in value from that course. So yeah, what's your reasoning behind that?
Exactly why you just said, because it's an instant yes for people. They don't have to think that much about it.
Yeah. Just do it. So, and then I guess you've got more people coming in to the course because it's more affordable, whereas the more expensive courses out there, they're sort of thinking it's less people. But that goes with your whole philosophy of helping as many people as you can too, doesn't it? I guess.
Yeah, I get really excited about helping more people rather than less. Like, if I was going to have a party, I would prefer so I could help people, I would prefer for it to be a big fucking party, not like an exclusive small party with people who are wealthy enough to attend. Like, I'm like, everyone come in.
Yeah, that's great. I even did your latest little course that you made, which was just basically going through your financial year for the 2021 financial year. I think I got the early bird special on your mailing list for $5. I was like, oh, this is freaking awesome. It was so good.
It's also like, I thought I'd just try something out, like a really cheap price, and then I've raised the prices. It's now whopping $7 for a 1 hour workshop. But I thought I would try it out and just see what it was like to release something at a smaller price point. Interestingly, lots of people from there would go on to sign up for bigger courses. And I think it was just people who were trying out one of my courses for the first time. They're like, oh, this is actually really fucking fun and useful. So yes, please. Yeah. It was good fun. I also needed to create that workshop anyway as a bonus for a program that I was running. So it was like, make it do double time.
Easy add-on. Yeah. So, you spoke a little bit about how to market how to sell without social media. I was looking at that. I'm like, should I do that one? I'm like, no, I actually love social media. I won't do that one to sell. But for people, there's so many people I know right now that are so overwhelmed and just so over feeling forced to have to get onto their social media every day and do videos. And some people just don't want to do that. So this course is absolutely perfect for that, isn't it? And what do you go through a little bit in that course?
Well, so first and foremost, if you're going to stay on social media, definitely that's great as long as you enjoy it. But like, I really want to make sure that, like, you need to get people on your mailing list. That's
Yeah.
really critical. It's the only way to build a sustainable business is to get people onto your mailing list. And then also be very smart about how you're using social media as well. So in the course, I like go through this, like, even if you decide to stay on social media, that's fine. But here's all the other ways that you should be considering marketing as well, because there are thousands and thousands of ways for you to market your business. And some of them will get you far bigger results and more profitable results than social media. Social media marketing is one option, and it's not necessarily the best option. Like, if it's not giving you a huge amount of return, you need to add in other ones. And also to make sure that your business is not built on shifting sands that's owned by somebody else.
It's so unpredictable, can change. They switch a little button, they're all screwed. Maybe I should do it after all then. It's funny, actually, I'm focusing on my mailing list. Like, in my first business, my old scrapbooking website, I used to do a weekly email, and it was like, even if I had to start at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'd always get sales. But in this business that I've been running for the past 7 years, even when I was doing lots of markets, I just didn't put any effort into the mailing list. And it's just this year, I'm like, oh my God, you've got to get your shit together and get that mailing list happening. That's why I've just hired this amazing girl, Carly, who's in Queensland, just to help me, because it's not my area where I think I've got like trauma because it was when I was doing it in my other business, I had 3 very small children and trying to like just exhausted and go, I got to get this goddamn email out. And I just think about emails now, I'm like, oh, I don't even want to do it, and I don't want to talk. And so she's going to do that. But that's what I'm literally going back to do, a few markets over the summer period, if we can get our lockdown down here, just purely to build up my mailing list, because I've only got like 100 people on my mailing list. So I'm like, oh, you need to get that. And it is like, so many people say email is dead, but it's so not, is it? Like, I still will look at emails. It's the one area where I think I actually really focus on. I'll have some quiet time and look through the emails of the ones that I'm subscribed to and shops and see what's new. So it's very important.
It's not dead whatsoever. Like, I love when people, like, who's saying email's dead? It's social media companies. Like,
exactly.
Guys. The statistics show that people who are subscribed to your mailing list are 40 times more likely to buy than one of your social media followers. 40 times. 40 times. If you want 40 times your profit, focus on your fucking mailing list.
That's an important figure. Actually, when I found your podcast this morning, I noticed you're doing a series on email marketing. So I will link the link to your podcast in the description below for anyone who wants to jump on to the podcast and get to know Leonie, because you just, I love your personality, and you just give so much away for free. So you can start with the free stuff and then go, okay, let's do a course now, because you will not regret the courses. They're so good. And I'm doing this, you're doing the live rounds of the Sell Your First e-course in 40 days now. So I'm redoing that, or I'm just kind of listening to the live Q&A calls 6:30 in the morning, half asleep. But I thought I'm just going to redo it, get it fresh in my mind. And even if I'm not ready to do it yet, there's so many other little gems of ideas in there as well. So it's very good. Now
I love that dulcet tones are there to wake you up in the morning.
I did it I think it was Thursday morning, and I didn't go because we're in lockdown in Melbourne still, and it's just dragging on so long. My sleep cycle is just completely out. So I've been staying up till like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, I'm getting up for this bloody live Q&A. So I set my alarm for 6:30, turned it on, and I was kind of like half in and out for the whole thing. I'm going to have to go back and listen to it, because I remember half asleep thinking, that's a brilliant idea. I need to do that. I don't remember what it was though.
I'll tell you what it was. Probably it was me saying, don't do a 40 days to something course, do it in 20 days, because it takes half the amount of time to create.
That's clever. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things with my courses too, I think why I sort of got stressed about it is because I went straight onto the Kajabi platform, which I love. I love the Kajabi platform for online courses. But because I like halted my marketing and only sold a couple, it was obviously costing me more because it is most expensive. So in that situation, would you recommend people start on one of the other platforms like Teachable or Thinkific or something,
so.
just to take the pressure off? I think that's what I'm going to do next time.
Yeah, like I take the pressure off, like, because I didn't start on Kajabi, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I like cheap shit.
Yeah.
I only fork out dollars when it's actually like saving me time to be able to do it that way, and I'm making more than enough money to deal with it. So there's like, as like even the e-course, there are so many ways for you to share your e-course with the world, and there's lots of free ways to do it, or very, very cheap, or you only get charged when, you know, somebody buys a course, you know, they get like, gets a portion of the cost or whatever. So definitely do it that way. If it's going to take the pressure off and just allow you to create, do that fucking thing.
Yeah. Just get it done. Just do it. Okay. So we're nearly out of time. I just wanted to ask you, have you got like an all-time favorite business book or your favorite at the moment that you're reading that you would say everyone should read this book, whether it's on sales or marketing or anything?
Oh, what do I really love lately? Honestly, no, I'm going to go with it. Like, I love The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss.
Yes, that's a great book. Yeah, I've read that one. Yeah.
When people say, why have you got a 10-hour work week? I'm like, because I took that book fucking seriously. I took it literally. Yeah.
Actually, I need to I've got that on Audible. I need to re-listen to that. Because I did that years ago, and I remember it just blowing my mind, even at the idea of it, even if it's not 4 hours, if it's like 10 hours or even 15 or whatever, it's like, oh God, it doesn't have to be this hard to run a business.
Just smart about it and run the business in a way that works for you and for your life.
Yeah. And what about podcasts? I know you are loving podcasts and you've got your own amazing podcast. Is there one that you love to binge on?
I do. My all-time favorite is We Can Do Hard Things. And it's a podcast by Glennon Doyle, who wrote Untamed.
Yes.
And Love Warrior and Carry On Warrior. And it is perfect and profound and beautiful. And I cry and I laugh, and it's just brilliantly good.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to have to add that. It's funny. I've literally just got back from my printer, a new greeting card design, and it's called We Can Do Hard Things. Perfect.
It's a sign, my friend.
Yeah. Okay. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to mention or talk about before we finish here?
Oh, sure. I love giving away shit. And if you go to my website, you can find my free shit page. Rondell will give you the links for it.
Yes.
And I just have dozens and dozens of free ebooks and workshops and video workshops and checklists and all the things to help you with your life, with your business, all the things.
Even colouring in pages to keep the kids entertained while you're learning.
It's true. I've got I think I did 400 colouring in pages.
Love that.
It's fun. Oh, you're a doll. Thank you so much, Rondell, for doing this with me. And I can't wait to see your podcast out in the world. Yes.
This will be the first interview. So if you're listening on the podcast, welcome. All right.
We did it.
You. Yeah, we did it. Well, that's what I think you're an implementer too, because you have all these great ideas, but then you actually go and do it instead of just thinking about it. So that's an important step too, isn't it?
It feels better. It feels better to do it.
Yeah. Even if it doesn't work out as great, you've done it.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for coming. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate your time. And I will have all the links in the description. So jump on and check out Leonie.
Yay.
Thanks, Leonie.